Time is the most democratic resource in existence. No matter who we are, rich or poor, young or old, we are all given the same 24 hours each day. Yet some people build remarkable lives, while others feel overwhelmed, stuck, or constantly behind. Arnold Bennett's classic work How to Live on 24 Hours a Day challenges us to rethink how we use our time and shows that a meaningful life is built in small, intentional moments. This audiobook presents the essence of Bennett's lessons in a calm, simple, and practical style. Each chapter will guide you toward understanding your daily habits, protecting your mental energy, and using even 1 hour a day to transform your future. You will realize that time is not something you'd find, it is something you shape, protect, and live with purpose. Whether you feel too busy, too distracted, or unsure where to begin, these chapters will help you build a new relationship with time. You will learn how small actions build into powerful results, how attention improves the quality of your life, and how you can grow every single day, even with a full schedule. Before we begin, remember to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any upcoming audiobooks, self-development guides, and inspiring content. Your support makes it possible to bring more meaningful books like this one to life. Now, let us begin the journey of reclaiming your 24 hours. Chapter 1: The Truth We Forget: We all have 24 hours. Time is the one resource that treats everyone equally. No matter where you were born, what you earn, or how you live, you are given 24 hours each day. This chapter begins with a gentle reminder: every person you admire, every leader who changed the world, and every individual who built a better life, all of them did it within the same time frame you have right now. The difference was not in the number of hours they had, but in how they chose to use them. Most people move through their days without noticing how valuable each hour truly is. We often assume tomorrow will bring more time, more energy, and more chances. But time does not pause, wait, or return. It simply flows. Once an hour passes, it becomes a part of your history, and what remains is the choice you made within it. Understanding this is the first step to gaining control over your life. When you begin to see time as a precious gift rather than something that just happens, your relationship with your day changes. You stop living on autopilot. You stop letting distractions pull you away. You stop waiting for the right moment. You realize that every moment already holds potential, and the power to shape your future is hidden inside the choices you make each hour. This truth can feel both inspiring and challenging. Inspiring, because it means you already have everything you need to start changing your life. Challenging, because it means the responsibility is yours. No one can manage your time better than you. No one will protect your hours if you don't. Recognizing this responsibility can awaken a new sense of strength and clarity. But this realization is not meant to pressure you, it is meant to free you. When you understand that time is fair and equal, you stop comparing yourself to others. You stop feeling behind. You stop believing that others are luckier simply because they accomplish more. Instead, you begin to focus on your own hours, your own choices, and your own path. In the end, the truth we often forget becomes the foundation of all meaningful change. You already have enough time to create a better life. The question is not whether you have 24 hours. It is how you choose to fill them. And from this point forward, you will learn how to use those hours with intention, purpose, and confidence. Chapter 2: Where does time disappear? Time often slips away quietly, not in big dramatic moments, but in small habits we barely notice. Many people move through their days believing they are busy, yet when they look closely, they find that large portions of their schedule dissolve into distractions. This chapter invites you to pause and observe how your hours truly unfold. Awareness is the first step toward understanding where your time goes and how to reclaim it. Throughout a typical day, small interruptions build up without us realizing it. Checking notifications, scrolling through social media, switching between tasks, or jumping into conversations that do not matter, these tiny actions steal minutes that eventually turn into hours. We often think we spent just a moment, but in reality, our attention was pulled away again and again. These scattered moments combine to create a sense of lost time. Digital distractions are among the most powerful thieves of modern life. The phone in your hand may feel harmless, but every alert breaks your focus. Every short video or quick message triggers a loop that keeps you engaged longer than you intended. Without clear boundaries, technology becomes a silent force guiding your day instead of being a tool you control. Recognizing this influence helps you choose more intentionally. Another hidden source of lost time is mental wandering. Sometimes, the body is present, but the mind drifts, thinking about the future, replaying the past, or worrying about imagined scenarios. These internal distractions drain energy and leave you feeling unproductive, even when you've technically spent time doing something. Mindfulness teaches us that being fully present is the key to using time wisely. There is also the habit of reacting instead of planning. Many people start their day without a clear direction, moving from one task to another based on what seems urgent rather than what truly matters. When you let circumstances decide your actions, time naturally scatters. But when you begin your day with intention, even if it's just a simple list, you regain control over how your hours unfold. Understanding where your time goes is not about judgment, it is about clarity. Once you see how your minutes are being spent, you gain the power to change your patterns. This chapter encourages you to observe your days honestly, with kindness toward yourself. By identifying your personal time wasters, you open the door to a more focused, meaningful way of living. Chapter 3: The moment you decide to change. There comes a point in every person's life when they quietly admit that something must shift. It may happen after a long, exhausting day or during a peaceful moment when the mind becomes honest with itself. This moment is powerful because it marks the beginning of awareness, the realization that things cannot continue as they are. It is not dramatic or loud, it is often a soft whisper inside saying, "Enough." Many people believe that change requires perfect timing, strong motivation, or a sudden life event. But real transformation usually begins with a simple decision. It starts when you recognize that your time is slipping away, and you are no longer willing to watch your days pass without purpose. This first step is small, but it is the one that matters most, because without it, nothing else follows. Once you decide to change, your perspective shifts. You begin noticing how you spend your hours, what drains your energy, and what brings you joy or growth. The same routine suddenly feels different because you now observe it with intention. You become more aware of choices you once made automatically, and this awareness is the foundation of time management. This moment of declaration is not about guilt or regret. It is about hope. It is the feeling that your life can become better, clearer, and more meaningful if you simply choose to guide your time instead of letting it guide you. Even if you have wasted years, this decision gives you a fresh beginning. Change does not happen instantly. The decision opens the door, but walking through it requires patience and consistency. You may fail some days and succeed others, but the commitment remains alive because you have already chosen your direction. Your decision becomes a quiet promise you make to yourself each morning. And so, the moment you say, "Enough," becomes the turning point. It marks the end of drifting and the start of living with intention. This single choice, small as it seems, is the spark that lights the path toward better habits, better focus, and a better life. Before we continue the book, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Your support helps us bring you more amazing audiobooks every week. Chapter 4: 1 hour is enough. Sometimes, change feels impossible because we imagine it requires huge effort, major sacrifices, or long hours of discipline. But the truth is far simpler. Real transformation begins with just 1 hour a day, an hour that belongs entirely to you. When you look closely, 1 hour is less than 5% of your day, yet it can reshape everything about your future. This chapter invites you to see how a single focused hour can become the engine of growth, clarity, and progress. In the beginning, this hour may feel small or even insignificant, but consistency is what gives it power. Imagine spending 1 quiet hour reading, learning a skill, practicing reflection, or working on your goals. Over a week, that becomes 7 hours. Over a month, it becomes 30. Over a year, it becomes more than 300 hours invested directly in your future self. Few people realize how much change comes from small steps repeated patiently. This hour works because it builds momentum. When you give yourself a dedicated time every day, your mind learns to expect growth. It becomes easier to start, easier to stay focused, and easier to improve. You are not fighting the entire day, you are simply protecting 60 minutes. Inside that time, you create space for clarity, inspiration, and intentional living. 1 hour also teaches discipline without pressure. Instead of trying to overhaul your whole lifestyle overnight, you begin with something gentle and achievable. This small commitment helps break the habit of waiting for the perfect day to begin. You no longer rely on motivation, you rely on a daily rhythm that slowly reshapes your habits and self-image. What makes the hour even more powerful is that it belongs entirely to your choice. You decide what to learn, what to build, and what to improve. It becomes a sacred moment, your personal investment in your growth. You are telling yourself, I matter. My development matters. My future matters. Over time, you'll notice the difference. Ideas become clearer. Goals feel reachable. Your confidence grows as you prove to yourself, day after day, that you are capable of consistency. This single hour is not just a part of your day, it is the foundation of a better life. Through it, you discover that change doesn't require perfection, only a daily promise to show up for yourself. Chapter 5: How to Protect the Golden Watch. There is a special moment in each day when your mind is clearer, your energy is higher, and your ability to focus is at its strongest. For many people, this happens in the early morning, before the world becomes noisy and full of demands. This chapter invites you to recognize that moment and treat it as something precious, your golden hour. It is the time when your ideas are freshest and your motivation naturally rises. The golden hour is often lost without us even noticing. We wake up and instantly reach for our phones, scroll through messages, or dive into distractions that pull us away from ourselves. When this happens, the mind becomes scattered before it even starts the day. Protecting your golden hour means giving yourself a gentle space to breathe, think, and move with intention instead of reacting to everything around you. To protect this hour, start by creating simple boundaries. Avoid beginning your day with social media, urgent messages, or stressful tasks. Instead, choose one meaningful activity that brings clarity to your mind: reading, journaling, planning your day, or even sitting quietly with your thoughts. These small moments help set the tone for the rest of your day in a powerful way. When you dedicate your golden hour to something positive, you build a stronger relationship with your time. Your mind becomes less reactive and more centered. You begin to work from a place of calm instead of rushing through your tasks. Over time, this small habit becomes a source of balance, stability, and inner peace. Consistency is what turns the golden hour into a life-changing routine. Even if you don't feel motivated every morning, showing up for yourself creates a long-term impact. This hour becomes your private sanctuary, away from noise, expectations, and pressure. You begin to notice that your decisions improve, your focus sharpens, and your mood stays steady throughout the day. Protecting your golden hour is ultimately an act of self-respect. It reminds you that your time has value and that your growth matters. This simple daily commitment builds a stronger, more intentional life, one quiet morning at a time. Chapter 6: 3 Ways to Elevate Yourself. Self-improvement does not always require dramatic steps or major life changes. Often, it begins with a few simple habits practiced with sincerity and consistency. This chapter introduces 3 powerful tools that can steadily lift your mind, your confidence, and the quality of your life: reading, reflection, and planning. These practices may seem small, but when repeated daily, they create a strong foundation for continuous growth. Reading is one of the easiest and most effective ways to open your mind. You don't need to read for hours. Even 15 minutes a day can expose you to new ideas, different perspectives, and inspiring stories. Books act as silent mentors. They guide you, challenge you, and invite you to think in ways you may not have considered before. With time, you will notice that your thoughts become clearer and your decisions wiser. Reflection, or simple moments of quiet thought, is the second tool. In a world full of noise, taking a few minutes to pause can make a huge difference. Reflection helps you understand your emotions, learn from your experiences, and stay connected to your goals. It allows you to step back, breathe, and look at life with calm eyes instead of rushing through it without awareness. The third tool, planning, transforms intention into action. Without a plan, even a small one, days can slip away without purpose. Planning does not have to be complicated. A short list of tasks, a few written goals, or a clear idea of what you want to accomplish is enough. When you know where you are going, your steps become lighter and your effort becomes more focused. When these 3 habits, reading, reflection, and planning, come together, they form a powerful cycle of growth. Reading fills your mind with knowledge, reflection helps you understand it, and planning turns it into real progress. Each strengthens the other, creating a steady path toward a better version of yourself. With patience and daily practice, these simple habits can transform your days. You will start to feel more grounded, more purposeful, and more in control of your time. Small steps, taken consistently, lead to big changes. And this chapter is a reminder that growth is not a destination, it is a continuous journey that begins with the choice to take one step forward today. Chapter 7: Attention. Be present in what you do. Being present is one of the most powerful skills you can develop in a world full of noise. Many people live their days on autopilot, moving from one task to another without truly noticing what they're doing. But the real quality of life is found in the small moments we actually experience with awareness. When you focus your mind on the present, even ordinary tasks begin to feel more meaningful. Attention is not something that appears by accident, it grows with practice. When you choose to give your full focus to a simple action, drinking water, reading a page, or walking down the street, you begin to reconnect with your mind and body. you start to realize how much beauty you have been overlooking because of constant distractions. Modern life pulls your attention in many directions. Notifications, social media, and unfinished tasks constantly compete for your mind. Without noticing it, you begin to live in pieces, your body in one place, your thoughts in another. This chapter invites you to gently gather those scattered pieces and bring them back into the present moment. Your mind becomes calmer, and your thoughts become clearer. Being present also improves your relationships. When you listen to someone with full attention, without checking your phone or thinking about your next task, they feel valued. Your conversations become richer, deeper, and more honest. Presence is a gift you give to others, but also a gift you give to yourself. With presence comes peace. When you focus on now, you stop worrying about tomorrow and stop replaying yesterday. This doesn't remove your responsibilities, but it reduces unnecessary stress. You learn to handle one moment at a time, and suddenly life feels lighter, more manageable, and more peaceful. In the end, attention is not only a skill, it is a way of living. By choosing to be present in your daily actions, you regain control over your mind and your time. You break the cycle of distraction and reconnect with what truly matters. When you live fully in each moment, you discover that life becomes richer, calmer, and far more meaningful. Before we continue the book, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Your support helps us bring you more amazing audiobooks every week. Chapter 8: Balance Between Work and Life. Finding balance between work and life is not about dividing your hours equally, it is about giving attention to what truly matters at the right moment. Many people feel overwhelmed because work slowly takes over their entire day, leaving little room for rest or connection. This chapter reminds you that life is not meant to be lived in a constant rush. When you understand your priorities, balance stops being a mystery and becomes a natural part of your routine. Work can be rewarding, but it can also drain your energy if you let it fill every corner of your day. Modern life often pushes us toward constant productivity, making us feel guilty whenever we stop. But silence, rest, and simple moments with loved ones are not signs of laziness, they are essential fuel for your mental and emotional health. When you allow yourself to pause, you return to work stronger and more focused. On the other side, personal life also needs space to breathe. Relationships grow through small daily interactions, a conversation, a shared meal, a moment of laughter. These moments may seem small, but they build the foundation of a joyful and meaningful life. When you protect time for the people you care about, you also protect your own emotional stability. Life feels lighter and more complete. Balancing your day also means understanding your natural rhythm. You may work best in the early morning, or maybe in the evening. When you match your work tasks with your peak energy hours and reserve your low energy time for rest or connection, you create a smoother flow in your day. This approach reduces stress and prevents the burnout that comes from pushing yourself at the wrong times. Learning to say no is another key to balance. You cannot agree to every request, task, or responsibility without paying a price. Each yes you say takes time from something else, your health, your peace, your relationships. By saying no or wisely, you protect your energy and allow yourself to focus on what truly matters. This is not selfishness, it is self-respect. In the end, balance is a habit built day by day. It is choosing to step away from the noise, even for a few minutes. It is giving yourself permission to rest, connect, breathe, and simply exist without guilt. When you nurture both your work and your personal life, you create a life that feels whole, not rushed, not empty, but meaningful and peaceful. And that balance becomes the foundation for long-term happiness and success. Chapter 9: Routine, Friend or Foe? Routine is something we all use, whether we realize it or not. It shapes how our days unfold and how our energy is spent. In this chapter, we explore the true nature of routine, not as a rigid system meant to control us, but as a tool that can either support or limit us, depending on how we design it. Understanding this difference is the first step to taking control of your daily rhythm. Many people fear routine because it sounds boring or repetitive. They imagine living the same day again and again without excitement or freedom. But the problem is not routine itself, it is the wrong routine. A poorly designed routine can drain your motivation, make your day feel heavy, and trap you in habits that do not help you grow. When routine becomes automatic and mindless, it slowly steals your time without you noticing. On the other hand, a good routine can become one of the most powerful allies in your life. When your daily structure supports your goals, everything becomes easier. You don't have to rely on willpower for every decision. Good habits start to flow naturally. Your mind feels clearer. And you suddenly find more time for what truly matters. Routine, when crafted with intention, creates freedom, not limits. To understand whether your routine is helping or hurting you, look at how you feel during your day. Do you wake up with direction, or do you feel lost? Do your habits support your energy, or drain it? Simple questions like these reveal the truth. Awareness is the key. Once you see your patterns clearly, you gain the power to change them. Improving your routine does not require huge changes. Start small. Add one good habit into your morning. Remove one distraction from your evening. Replace one empty activity with something meaningful. Every small adjustment creates a ripple, shaping your mood, your productivity, and your overall well-being. Over time, these small changes transform your entire lifestyle. In the end, routine becomes whatever you make it. It can be a silent enemy that steals your time, or a loyal partner that pushes you forward. When designed with purpose, routine supports your growth, protects your energy, and helps you live each day with clarity and balance. The secret is simple: don't let routine happen to you, create it yourself. Chapter 10: Don't wait for perfection. Many people spend their lives waiting for the perfect moment. They imagine a time when everything will feel right, when they have more energy, more confidence, or more motivation. But this moment rarely comes. Life is full of imperfect conditions, and if you wait for the right time to begin, you may never start at all. Perfection becomes a quiet trap, holding you still while the days continue to pass. Procrastination often hides behind the desire to do it perfectly. You tell yourself that you're not ready, that you need a better plan, or that you must learn more before you start. These thoughts sound reasonable, but they create endless delays. The truth is that taking imperfect action is far more powerful than planning endlessly without moving forward. Progress begins the moment you act, not the moment you think. Every great achievement in history began with a small, imperfect step. Writers, artists, athletes, and creators all started before they were ready. They learned along the way. They improved through effort, not through waiting. What matters is not how perfect your first step is, but that you take it. Once you begin, momentum builds naturally, and the path becomes clearer with each attempt. When you let go of perfectionism, you make space for growth. Mistakes stop feeling like failures and become lessons. Challenges stop feeling like signs that you're not capable, they become proof that you're moving forward. Progress requires patience, curiosity, and the willingness to learn from experience. When you allow yourself to be human, you give yourself the freedom to grow. One of the simplest ways to escape perfectionism is to start with good enough. A good enough effort today is better than a perfect effort that never arrives. Whether you're learning a new skill, starting a project, or improving your habits, focus on consistency rather than flawlessness. Over time, small, steady steps create real transformation. In the end, perfection is not your goal, growth is. Life rewards those who begin, not those who wait endlessly for ideal conditions. When you choose action over hesitation, you take control of your time, your potential, and your future. Start now, even if your step is small or uncertain. The journey only begins when you decide to move. Before we continue the book, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Your support helps us bring you more amazing audiobooks every week. Chapter 11, Small Fruits, Then Big Changes. In every journey of growth, the first steps often feel too small to matter. You might read for 15 minutes, take a short walk, or practice a skill for just a few moments. These actions seem tiny, almost insignificant. But this chapter reminds you that real transformation rarely begins with dramatic leaps. It begins with quiet, consistent efforts so small that they are easy to ignore, yet powerful enough to reshape an entire life over time. Tiny habits work because they bypass resistance. Your mind doesn't fight a task that feels effortless. 15 minutes of reading? Easy. 1 page of journaling? Simple. A 5-minute stretch? No problem. And once you start, something interesting happens, momentum builds. The small task grows naturally into something bigger, and before you realize it, progress is happening smoothly and steadily. This slow and steady growth mirrors the way nature works. A seed does not become a tree overnight. It grows quietly, invisibly at first, strengthening its roots before anyone can see the results. Your personal development follows the same rule. The first changes are hidden. You may feel like nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, new habits, new thoughts, and new confidence are forming. Small daily actions also create discipline without overwhelming you. When you commit to an easy routine, like 15 minutes of learning each day, you teach yourself consistency. And consistency is more valuable than intensity. A person who reads a little every day will learn more over months than someone who reads for hours once in a while. Small actions compound, turning into meaningful progress that continues even when motivation fades. Another power of small steps is that they reduce fear. Big goals can intimidate you, making you hesitate or procrastinate. But a small step feels safe. It feels doable. And once you complete it, you gain a sense of accomplishment that encourages you to keep going. These small wins fuel your confidence, leading to bigger and bolder decisions later on. By the time you look back, you will realize that these small efforts have created major change, new habits, new mindset, new achievements. What once felt impossible becomes natural. This chapter teaches you that greatness is not built in a single day. It is built in minutes, consistent, gentle minutes that slowly reshape your future. Your life changes the moment you honor the small steps and trust that they will guide you to something bigger than you imagined. Chapter 12, Life is not what we live, but what we create. Life often passes quietly, day after day, in familiar routines and repeated patterns. Many people assume that a long life automatically means a meaningful one, but this chapter reminds you of a deeper truth. What truly gives life its weight is not the number of years you live, but what you choose to build within those years. Every moment carries a seed of possibility, and your decisions decide whether that seed grows or disappears unnoticed. When you look back on your past, it's rarely the length of time that matters in your memory. Instead, you remember the experiences you shaped, the risks you took, the values you defended, the dreams you followed, and even the challenges you overcame. This is where the real essence of life is crafted. It is shaped by intention, shaped by effort, and shaped by the courage to direct your time toward something that matters to you. The chapter encourages you to see each day as a blank page. Whether the page remains empty or becomes filled with progress, learning, kindness, or creativity depends entirely on how you use your hours. You don't need grand achievements to give meaning to life. Even small, simple actions, reading a chapter, learning a new idea, practicing a passion, create a life richer than years lived without purpose. It also explains that meaning grows slowly, just like a tree. You may not notice the change immediately, but with steady action, your days begin to form a pattern, and your pattern becomes a path. Over time, this path defines who you are becoming. In this sense, you are both the traveler and the architect of your journey. Your intentions guide you forward, and your consistent actions give shape to your identity. The chapter invites you to measure life not by time, but by depth. Depth of attention. Depth of effort. Depth of presence. A single year lived with awareness and purpose can be more powerful than a decade spent in distraction. When you choose to live with clarity, focusing on growth, relationships, and meaningful goals, you transform ordinary time into something extraordinary. Finally, it leaves you with a gentle reminder: life is your creation. You are given 24 hours each day, no more, no less. What you build within them is your true legacy. Fill your days with what reflects your values, your dreams, and your character. Because at the end, the only life that truly belongs to you is the one you consciously shape.